talk about something else for a second. So how's your daughter, Chris? Let's clear
She's,
this.
It's
just in case we're live.
She's up at my parents' house, so I don't have to see her for a month.
Oh,
okay, good. See, we changed the subject. Everybody got this stuff out of their system.
It made me sad though. Where's the chat?
All right, are we live? We are live. Okay. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the second season of Second Sons, episode 2. So it's the second episode of the second season of the Second Sons. That is a lot of S's.
Knights of the Hollow Hill episode. This is 222.
Oh yeah, the 222 episode. As Buzz likes to repeat, my English skills are poor, so that many S's is just really driving me crazy. So we are back. We now have the full crew. The band is fully back together for the first time in our second season, aka the second episode. So I'm gonna just say, as always, I'm Roy Rogers, formerly of the New York City Meta, currently of my apartment Meta with the sweet bookshelf Al and I bought. And Glazer's here, but he doesn't get to talk. Sid, how are you today?
I'm doing really good. Happy to be back for episode 2, man. It's summer, so life is pretty laid back.
And the champion of our hearts, Chris Schoenthal, is back. We had a man with more card designs, but also from SoCal on to fill your very large champ shoes, Chris. How are you doing?
Chris.
Post Comic-Con.
Hey, Chris.
Aaron.
Hey, Chris. How's it feel that my champ card's coming out before yours?
Oh, daggers.
Played.
Such daggers.
Joke is played, Glazer.
At least I didn't have to get drawn as a mammoth dick.
I am definitely a mammoth dick. That is the most accurate depiction of me you could ever put on a card.
All right,
yeah,
how you
doing?
I'm
just I'm drinking away my last 2 weeks as the reigning champion here. So yeah, but I am going to Gen Con. I don't have any expectations to do as well as I did last year, but I'm glad to be back on the cast. Glad to be thrown in again. It's going to be a good summer.
And we are back with fan favorite, but cameraless, everyone's most handsome sweet. So they don't get their cheesecake, but we get Buzz's wonderful voice. How you doing, Buzz?
Hello. I'm doing pretty good.
Good. And as you can see, we are back with the excellent production values thanks to Buzz being back. So things are kind of returning to normal, which is usually... So actually, we're just like a lot of TV shows where you have this cutting-edge first episode where everything has changed, and then they just go right back to the status quo. It's kind of like every season of Bones, which does that. There's like one episode where they're like, oh my god, everything's different in the first episode. Then the second episode is the same as the fucking 21st of the previous season. But anyway, enough about what Roy spent a year of Netflix doing. How do we want to start this episode off? We do know what the Gen Con meta is going to be, but we're doing a Gen Con episode next time. We're going to have a post-Fracas episode, so we're not entirely going to talk about Gen Con tonight. But we know that Oberyn's Revenge will not be legal for Gen Con.
Wait, do we know that?
Yes.
We do know that.
We do.
The Italian distributor leaked, like always, the release date, which is the 17th.
Oh, wow.
So it's a Gen Con release.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks, FFG. Yeah.
I couldn't even get it out. It was too funny. Good.
Let's see. What other news? Oh,
wait. Can we just... If any of you listeners are playing L5R, just a fair warning, they're gonna fuck you with OP. They're gonna pretend they're not.
No,
and you're gonna believe that they're not. But
that's an actual
Wait,
topic.
we're gonna talk. That's a topic point.
I don't think actual topic, Glazer. Stop. Hold it.
Correct. Glazer,
press mute.
Calm down.
Buzz, mute him. Don't let him talk for a second. All right. So the other big thing of this announcement means that we're most likely not gonna have Valor. This is something Aaron will have an opinion on. Valor Dohaeris for Worlds this year. So we will have a Worlds without Valor again. So I don't think...
Probably not Stalik either, which is sad.
So, yeah, because that's the one you're going to.
Oh, you're going to Stalik?
Stalik's the 17th?
Maybe Los Dos. It depends on whether or not FFG has reasonable scheduling. So we'll see.
Hey, by the way, it seems like as 90% I'm coming to Thrones War.
Yes.
Score.
I feel like this time last year he said the same thing though. I feel like we heard that same message right around this time last year.
So time out. 2 people with kids should not be shit talking me for this.
2 people with kids that are always there.
Who live in how many New York tournaments you been at?
Okay.
Hey, to be fair, Aaron's been to 0 SoCal tournaments, but I've been to 1. And I'm going to be at Thrones War. I'm getting my tickets. I'm visiting my sister the Friday before. She's driving me down to San Diego the next day. It's going to be a good time.
Nice. What else are you coming to, though, Roy?
I'm also coming to Kubla. Ala and I are locking in plans to be there. She's going to spend the weekend with her best friend. I'm going to spend one day playing Thrones and the rest saying thank you for letting me play Thrones and spending time with them the next 2 days. So
we'll set you up with some nice places to take her.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good time. So a lot of California for me this year, which I'm really excited about.
And if you win Kubla, you're also going to Stalik next year, which is great.
That's true. If I win Kubla, I will go to Stalik. I will somehow find the money to go to Stalik.
A real road to Stalik.
You don't need that money. That's the point.
Guys,
it's a road to Stalik.
I have to find a flight.
A real road to Stalik
you guys
in America?
Flight, right?
When did this start happening? Since when do we get real road to Staliks in America?
Not until 2018.
Yeah, the first one. Wow.
I won.
Hey, to give Brad credit, the winner of Hardhome is going to Stalik. So, hey,
there we go.
Give him that. He's not paying for them to go, but they are going. They are going.
They're not paying. That's hilarious. All right, let's move on because I can't deal with that.
All right. Well, I do want to briefly congratulate Jess for winning Hardhome, which is a big deal.
Absolutely.
Jess has been, Chris is the flashy one, but Jess flies under the radar.
But Jess is better. Got it.
Yes, if Jess is has knocked me out of a variety of cuts, including twice in the Thrones War draft, which was quite frustrating. So Jess is an incredibly kind person, but a killer Thrones player. So I'm very happy to have her representing Team America. She's the only American with a bye, so the pressure's on Jess. You've got to help represent Team America because we got to show the Europeans that we have the best meta and their meta is competitively hollow, right, Buzz? That's how it is.
Yeah.
Did she also earn a bunk in a room with 20 Eastern Europeans? I hope that was the situation. Here you go, Jess. You're right about.
Hey, it's actually 19 Eastern Europeans and Sandy.
Got it. Perfect.
Well, Sandy's got to win before he can do that. All right, and we'll see. He's going to Fracas. He'll be joining us in the next episode.
Sandy's going to Stalik. He's just, not getting a bye.
Do we know what names Jess is bunking with?
I don't know.
I don't think we know.
I'm going to see her at Gen Con, so
I'm assuming with Chris. Did Chris get it? Is Chris going as well?
I think he's trying to talk to them about that because obviously he doesn't get the ticket that she got.
And it's so late in registration.
And it's sold out. So I'm hoping they're going to accommodate him, but I haven't heard back yet.
If not, he can go for moral support, right?
They can put him in the moral support corner.
He can go to
they
Paris
can put him in the
with
plus
my
one
wife,
corner.
so that'll be good.
You know what he should
Sounded
do?
weird.
He should go dressed as a cheerleader. And just straight up all weekend.
I mean, look, somebody's not going to... If Chris just shows up at the castle, there's got to be someone who doesn't show up to Stalik, right, Buzz? There's got to be a few people who just can't at the last minute, right?
Yeah, sadly it's been like that, a few people missing, up to 10 some years, I think. That's, yes.
But not the 70 open seats like we had at Worlds last year after they pre-regged.
No. So actually I don't have a Joust ticket this year, but because I gave it away to a metamate, I only have a melee ticket. So I'm hoping that someone drops. Otherwise I will do video content from Stalik.
Nice.
All right. Let's see. What other news stuff do we have before we talk about the topic that Aaron was trying to bogart?
I don't even know what you're talking about. So,
do we have any other news that I'm forgetting here? Jess won Hardhome.
Did you want to talk about the next box release?
Oh, right. Yes. We are the Second Sons because we are the second podcast of Aaron and I, and technically Dark Knowledge when this started. So. And Buzz with
Buzz.
Sorry, he does. Buzz's beard isn't here, so I can't remember that he. But anyway, in White Book 300, Will got Danny and FFG to reveal that the Martell box will be the next box coming out probably this winter, which is kind of awesome. I think. I think it's the first box that I think people are actually looking forward to getting.
Oh yeah.
It's every other box we've all. I guess the Stark box, right? People were like, "Oh yeah, Stark, that makes sense, right?" No one really complained that it was the first box, but
it was
Lannister people complained about quite rightly. I was one of those people. Night's Watch people complained.
So I think the trajectory is kind of interesting, though. because you say it's the first one that we've been actually like kind of anticipating, but I feel like the Night's Watch had this trajectory where people were like, "Oh, Night's Watch is garbage out of the core. They need a box," and then they got like a string of amazing cards in packs, and then by the time we got to like a week before the Night's Watch box, everybody's like, "What else can they get? Like, there's nothing else that's gonna like. There's no more design space for them. How can they get any
a really good Jon
broken?
Snow and a bunch of builders?
No,
That's what they got.
It was that.
And to Danny's credit, like the box didn't like further break them that much. Like there wasn't another Haunted Forest type card in there. But my point is that it's entirely possible we have 8 months between now and then that Martell's going to get some cards along the way that propel it, and we're just going to be like, wait, really? Martell's getting cards now? Like,
I think Martell's almost right there anyways. They've gotten a lot better competitively just in the last 3 to 4 months.
That's just because
they're still behind, but they're not that far away anymore. But I think FFG is like this, right? I mean, the playtest schedule is long. So they kind of think, okay, Martell next because they do need a boost. But then it's going to be 6 months to a year later. Again, I don't blame them for that. I'm happy Martell's getting.
I actually would probably. Well, no, because we haven't. I'm really interested in the Martell box being next because it definitely blows up those of you, including myself, who think that it's done by popularity of factions. Like, because let's be honest here. Now, among book readers, Martell remains a very popular house. Like, I think House Martell is great in the books, but the show has done no favors to House Martell, right?
Well, I think Martell was not in the show.
They're not that great in the books either, though. I'm going to even take umbrage with that. Not that great in the books.
I'm trying to be.
You're very wrong. They're the best in the books. They're the only place in Westeros that you could live at all. Like anywhere else, it's like.
I was expecting the Targ box, like 100%. Like we got Stark, we've got Lannister, we got Jon Snow. What do we need? What's the other pillar of the show?
No Barra, right? No Barra.
Danny.
We needed the fire to the ice, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we needed the fire to the ice. Like Danny, Jon, the Stark children, and then Tyrion, right? And Jaime. Like those are the characters.
And also dragons, presumably. Like
full grown.
Full grown ones.
We're still playing with hatchlings.
I know.
Well,
it's a good thing. It's a good thing there's no event that triggers off them, so we can just not play them. Wait a second.
Hey, it's dragon cards, so the expensive ones can still be used to drag.
Yeah, I know.
So, but just no stand.
Do you really want to kneel a 7-cost Drogon to drag somebody? But maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he's synergized. Maybe he has some stand ability. Who knows?
I don't know if you know this about Drogon or know this about Drac, but it's a good card. You probably kneel wherever the fuck you need to make something get dragged.
It's true. But would you? I mean, I guess you do kneel Danny.
I've knelt Danny.
Yeah. I don't think there's much equivocation to be had here.
No. Good card. Dracarys is a good card.
This is what you watch Second Son for, folks.
Yeah.
In-depth analysis like
we're deep diving into Dracarys right now.
Look, it's the
good
second
now,
best kill spell in the game.
Probably will be good later.
Second best kill spell in the game.
Second best kill spell game?
Yeah, second best.
Well, I've been gone. I think there's been a lot of good memes, and I'm sad I missed it.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't
best kill spell in the
been
game
unstoppable.
is the only contribution that Joe has made to Game of Thrones, the card game, is that stupidity that he wrote in his Dance of Dragons.
Isn't everything he writes stupidity?
Which was
he doesn't write that much
game.
Everything
Thrones, well known for its spells. Just like Stark Harrenhal Hall is the best kill land in the game. Right?
Right. The kill land. That's
Look, I'm not gonna whatever else you might rake him over the coals for. I'm not gonna rake him over the coals for using Magic terminology. I ask Ryan Jones if he's hellbent on a regular basis.
I don't even know.
All right. So
having no cards in your hand. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
like you're making shit up.
Okay, so let's go on to the original topic that I guess we said we were going to talk about. I don't know, whatever. The main topic for today. There we go. That's what we're talking about. This is why the pre-show should not be full of pre-gaming. All right, so the big news from FFG is not Thrones related. It is OP related. FFG has started to roll out what it's going to be doing for Legend of the Five Rings, which blows out of the water anything that they did for the rollout of Thrones 1.0. There's going to be a 2.0. 1.0 or 2.0. Excuse me. 2.0.
CCG.
Fill in the blank.
Any Thrones, I guess the CCG, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, Game of Thrones 2nd edition, to be clear. There is no comparison. There's 3 events at Gen Con, which will have one of which will have story implications, because one of the things about L5R is you can impact the story, along with card designs. There's this whole elaborate system that they're putting for when people win tournaments and when they place well in certain factions, excuse me. They're
drunk.
There are, like, you get rewarded for doing well in Crane. So when you show up at tournaments, you get announced, hey, this is the best Crane player in the tournament currently here, and all kinds of really interesting things. Very elaborate.
Crane. Hang on, what's Crane? What are you making shit up for?
I just picked.
It's one of the clans.
Okay.
Like Lion. They're all based on, animals and stuff. But anyway.
Did you just call lions and cranes mythical animals?
No, you just said
Animals and stuff.
Okay.
So
Okay. And they're
only one
mythical
of them's mythical. There's a unicorn clan.
Yeah, mythical.
There you go.
Right.
oh my God.
I completely lost my thread here. Anyway, fucking fantastic OP announcement about L5R. So I think why don't we just talk about that in general? So, like, what do we think about the fact that, 2nd edition's rollout was supposed to be the biggest rollout in FFG history, and it really ended up kind of not being, let's be completely honest. And now L5R seems to be getting the real deal. How do we feel like that? Of all of us who, we're here, we were all 1st edition players, and we all made the transition, and several of us were there at Gen Con. All of us but Aaron were at the first Worlds for 2.0. Like, what do we think about this sort of initial announcement before we move on to what this means for Thrones? Sid, I know you had an opinion.
All right, I'll start.
Sid was looking pensive. I was like,
I was gonna wait. I was gonna wait to see if I needed to rebut, but I think it's a lot of cool announcements, and it sounds great. All the stuff at Gen Con, I just kind of dismiss a little bit. It's great for people going to Gen Con, but I don't think it's indicative of OP going forward, right? It's just like, this is really cool. They're gonna put a lot into Gen Con, and that's great, for the however many hundreds of people are there. Awesome. But if we're gonna really see a change in OP, we need to see a much bigger, broader, and continual change. And I don't see any evidence that they're planning to do that. These little titles that they give people, they're easy. You just drop them on. They don't really have to do anything. They don't have to organize much. The kind of launch day tournaments at stores, that's cool. And I'm down for that. And I wish we had something like that for Thrones. But past, like, their launch, right? Like, past September, do we have any indication that their OP program is going to knock everyone else's out of the water? I don't think so. And I'm not that optimistic that they will knock it out of the water after their initial first splash. Like, they're going to cannonball into the pool, and then they're just going to sink to the bottom, is my fear.
No, they're going to cannonball in, and the water's going to jet straight up their asses. It's exactly. FFGOP is going to fuck them like
a...
And if that's not the case, if they have some grand plan, for the next number of years, then if they don't incorporate Thrones and Netrunner and X-Wing and whatever else into this new system or this new strategy, then it'll be the hugest debacle of all the debacles they've committed in OP, right? If they just kind of make one great and the rest suck. So there's only really 2 things that I think that can happen. It all becomes great because they learn their lessons and they're going to spearhead with L5R, and the rest will follow in the wake of great OP, or L5R will just make a big splash for a month, and then it'll go back to the same kind of, oh, really? This is what we've got? Oh, really? Like, of all the other properties, they have so many properties now. Like, do we really think there's just going to be one good OP? I don't think so. It's all going to be great, or it's all going to suck. And I have a feeling that the latter is more likely.
So it's the ultimate FFG role, right? Like, the ultimate role of FFG OP is they hate money. So I don't think they've suddenly
and
learned
growing games and games that grow.
Well, you'd have to love it. Like, if they grew games, they would have money. So it really comes down to that they hate money. So, like, I don't expect them to suddenly realize that money is good. So, like, yeah, like, they've had good ideas for Thrones. The question is, can they follow through on anything? And the answer, spoiler, is no.
It's all about the shiny. It's all about the new. And with them, and that's what it feels like.
And you know what it's not all about? The Benjamins.
I agree. I don't think they have it figured out yet. I don't know why they don't have it figured out, but I don't feel like they have it figured out. These announcements don't give me hope. They give me fear that this is just going to piss off every other property besides L5R.
Hey, remember the Star Wars card game? That worked out well.
Yeah.
But Star Wars had a really
right?
botched
Doesn't it still
rollout,
exist?
didn't it?
Yes,
Like-
of course. Everything has a
I mean, it had,
rollout. It's
it had
FFG.
similar problems, right? To
Remember
what
when?
2.0 did?
Like we just randomly stopped getting cards like immediately.
Yeah, I mean, but
was
Star Wars
like
had
here-
that for months, and then had another delay in the middle of the second cycle.
So what's the best
right?
What's
when
the
I
best
bought it, so-
predictor of future action?
Uh-oh.
Past
Eric's
action.
gonna be on this.
FFG's gonna fuck up. Like I want someone to bet me. Like I want someone to FFG to bet me that they won't fuck up because I'm that confident that they're gonna fuck up.
So I think there's a couple things at play here. First of all, it's important to note, and I know this has been noted in the past, that Steve Horvath came from L5R. He was an inveterate L5R player. He was a top player. He worked on I don't think he worked for AEG, but he worked on tournament organization for them. So this is, in a lot of ways, I think the acquisition and then the success of it is going to be kind of his baby. I think that a lot of the stuff that they've shown already, I agree, is kind of like one-off, like let's get the excitement going and then we'll see where it goes. But it's also going in some kind of odd directions just by necessity, because obviously with all of their other properties, they can't directly, take player input and put it elsewhere other than in the form of a single card that, the champs get to make. Whereas...
Chris, that's not true with Android because they own Android, right? They don't own Netrunner, the game. Like the game
so I guess in that case, that's fair. But in that case, they've chosen not to do that.
Yeah, that's the thing that's interesting to
me. Which is odd, I agree. But I think that it feels like the Netrunner community isn't necessarily all that story-based, whereas obviously that's just absolutely integral to L5R. It's just part of why people play L5Rs, for story prizes, for affecting the future, for affecting their clans. There's a lot of clan loyalty, which I naturally, as a Jamie player, have no interest in.
Yeah, how's that going to work going forward with an LCG model? Why even be loyal?
I mean, why be loyal in CCG?
There isn't
pressures.
Why?
I mean, you'll have all the cards, right?
Why be loyal in Thrones? We still have Thrones loyalists.
No, we don't. Do we?
I guess we used to.
Why does Stark always have
a European perspective? Because that's what the real loyalism is. Buzz.
What?
It does Buzz does
you were
clan does faction or house loyalty still exist in Europe? Like, are there still top level players who still only play one faction though? Like
Thomas Albeck.
Thomas. He said he was going to change, and he didn't.
He likes Tyrell as well, but there are absolutely people who play maybe a very narrow amount of factions, of course, and also there are still the true loyalists that play only one house. But I've seen more and more of the ones that I know were loyalists go over to play 2 or 3 at least.
Yeah, I feel like they're like the RUSs.
And so here's another thing that...
Really? Nobody? Ouch.
Rodents of unusual size? I just don't understand why you dropped that in there.
Because I don't think they exist. Good.
But they do. That's the whole thing.
Aaron gets mauled by one. Yeah. That's very clever. Now shut up. See, now we're playing off the movie lines.
Way to go.
But another thing that I saw that actually Tom Malucci just brought back to my attention was, have you guys seen this bit where there are essentially mandatory agendas for each faction? That bit seems really weird to me. So,
and you'll have to play it in any kind of
if you're playing,
play, right?
If you're playing in organized play, so presumably official FFG events,
Oh, right.
Your clan will have either a seeker or a keeper role for one of the elemental rings, which is, from what I can tell, essentially a mini agenda that has deck building restrictions or changes in some way how you're building your deck. And from what it looks like, for an entire year, your clan will be set with exactly one of those, and you'll have to play that one. And I can't imagine that working out well. That sounds terrible to me. Like,
I mean,
you imagine being like, all right, I won Worlds with Lannister Reigns. Everybody in Lannister has to play Reigns the rest of the year. Like,
wait, what?
No.
It's kind of like it's not as restrictive, but it is
it's
like
not restrictive
that,
as that. I think it's kind of
It's
interesting.
not as restrictive, but
No, because they're equal, right? Like the keeper and seeker. Because there's the keeper and seeker, right? So if you win with Lannister, right? So the person who wins with Lannister gets to be the first to choose, and then the person who came in So the person who came in second, if their faction
sounds like
wasn't
Quidditch.
Yeah, it's like Quidditch, right? So let's go off worlds here, right? Like,
or
so
possibly Calvin Ball.
it was Joe versus I can't remember the Italian gentleman's name, but who came in second?
Giovanni?
He was Giovanni. Yes, he was playing.
You just
Tark,
guessed
right?
Giovanni because you heard Italian. Way to be stereotypical.
These two of these gentlemen were at Worlds, so they have a much greater chance of knowing him because they've seen him in person. But anyway, so let's say Giovanni came in second, so he would go next and pick Targ's benefit, right? And then whatever the third highest placing person. So Ryan played Lannister, so he wouldn't count. But if it was Bear, it wasn't Bear. It was like Night's Watch, right? So the Night's Watch player would then pick. And then it's based on where they fit, and I think it's really interesting. The thing I think it's interesting is because it can shift if you make them relatively balanced. So you have, if there's 8 factions, 4 get a benefit, 4 get some sort of minor drawback. It can shift Jaime players around. Well, how does the card pool of Lannister interact with what Joe had chosen? How does the card pool with Targaryen interact with what Giovanni chose, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? As long as the benefits aren't like auto win if you play Lannister, it could actually be interesting. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's fair to mention that you're correct that they don't seem like they're agenda level effects. They're not defining your deck necessarily. They're just improving it. Like, I think the one in the rule book let you get 3 additional influence points, which lets you play like more out of house characters basically, and then some other minor effect too. So you're right that they're not necessarily breaking. Like, the Lanny Reigns example was hyperbolic, I admit that. But still, it's so different than anything we've seen at all from FFG. Like, the closest we've gotten recently is the 3 Forks vote, and that's not that close.
No.
But it is, I mean, if we're looking at L5R, I think the fact that the Tyrell box is that it's in the Tyrell box, which is about a year turnover, which is very fast for FFG design, does show that the choices will be able to come around. Chris has mentioned Trident is a great transition point, unless other people have broader stuff that they want to say about this. No.
I mean, I guess the only broader thing I would have to say is, hopefully this is successful and they realize that this is things like this. Like Lucas said, they're not that hard to implement, like giving out titles or giving out like little prizes here and there. They're not, this isn't rocket science, but if they realize that this is something that people want and that it attracts people to the game, I mean, we can hope and we can push that this is something we might see in our game at some point.
Right. I mean, that's the key thing, right? Because the Trident event showed that FFG is capable of thinking about this. And I think short of Christian Peterson, getting George Martin really, really drunk at Worldcon and convincing him to like name the 2000, like a character in Winds of Winter from the 2018 winner. So you can get like
2022 winner. I think
whatever. So like, Sid, if he wins Worlds in 2019, can get eaten by a White Walker in Winds of Winter or something, right? Because that's what they did, right? The guy that he beat, that he made the bet. I think of like Giants versus Cowboys, right?
Yeah, the Giants.
He dies in Dance of Dragons, right? He's killed by Wan, right? So like Martin has a history of doing stuff like this, and it's the easiest thing in the world, right? He could just be like, Sir Sid is killed in this battle, Hey, there you're in forever.
Sir Sid sits the Iron Throne at the end of the book.
Yeah, I don't think he'll let
Little
you do
known
that.
side character brought in the last book. Yes.
It's still probably better than whatever he has planned.
All right, but whatever. Like, but short of that happening, Trident is the closest thing we could get to.
Hey, I've got a real question.
Sure.
How's Destiny doing?
Well, except for product delays, from what I understand, right?
Oh, okay, got it. Never mind. Product delays. Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. Or
I think
what I
they got
expect.
their,
I
they got their
think the
back
product
stocks
delays are
pretty good though.
Yeah, I don't think the product delays are happening anymore. I've seen multiple Facebook posts from stores in my area saying, "Hey, we have product now. There's no more of this like 6 packs a day nonsense they had to do for a while."
Is it still super hot?
I don't.
Yeah,
It's still definitely being played all over. I don't know if it's super hot. I think it'll be interesting. There are a number of cash side events that are happening at Gen Con, and I think the attendance at those will be pretty telling as to whether or not the game is going to stick around or not.
I mean,
Yeah,
here's
we
the
need
thing,
to remember
though.
to talk about that after Gen Con.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely should. Here's the thing about Destiny, right? And is that because it was hot before, I think it can be reignited when The Last Jedi. Like, I think if FFG actually times a set release with when Last of the Jedi comes out, that will really move product again. Because
Wait.
Oh my
There's
God,
gonna be a
Rey
Last
is
Jedi?
The Last Jedi, right? Isn't that the title of the next?
You're right. Aaron's being obtuse.
Aaron's trolling. Troll.
Oh, sorry.
Roy's drunk. It's easy.
Well, I'm just more easily confused. Am I saying the wrong thing?
No, you're correct.
So back to the broader point. Like, so what does this mean for Thrones? Like, I have a very negative assessment of what this is going to mean for Thrones, but I want to throw it out to you guys first before I do that.
I don't know. I think Thrones has withstood the test of time more than any other game that FFG has, right? It just kind of keeps on going and keeps on trucking. And maybe that's because it's got enough people that work there that kind of want to see it continue. That might be it. And if that ever changed, if kind of our biggest champions for the game ever left, then you could see it maybe fade away. But I don't think any of this is really that bad for Thrones. I think Thrones is a great game, and it continues to be a great game on the mechanic level, right? You could say the card pool is not where it needs to be or whatever, but it still is maybe the best game they make, in my humble opinion. And I've played almost all the games, and if that continues and there's still a few people there that support it, I really don't think we need to worry. Like, Thrones may be small, it might be 2, 3, number 5 on their list, but it's always going to be a good game. I think they'll continue to support it in one way or another.
So you're saying it's definitely not number 4?
Maybe
It's 2, 3, or 5.
maybe,
but
2,
not
3, 5, something like that. Never 4. Never 4.
Lord of the Rings will always be number 4.
Will it? Is it even 4?
4
right now?
rings to
No
rule
way.
them all.
14 maybe. There's a lot of FFG properties now.
Well, but we're talking about pure LCG. I mean, Arkham's been selling like crazy, so it might be up there.
Has it?
Well,
really?
not even LCG. How about just organized play games? Like,
I mean,
there's a
light
lot.
crazy might be a relative term for a cooperative game.
Right.
Yeah.
Very.
It's been selling out at the stores in both Philly and New York, though. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
They order like 2 packs.
I guess I don't know. There's a ton of packs. They don't have the fucking Red Wedding at the store in Philadelphia, which is constantly driving me crazy. Going, you got the Red Wedding yet? They're like, no.
They're like, Roy, we'll tell you when we have the Red Wedding. And then the Reigns of Castamere starts playing. Roy runs out of the stores, gets chopped down.
Yeah, but I'm really not that worried about the future of Thrones. I think it's still bright. We're still moving up, and we don't even have our deluxes out. They're not just going to stop. We're fine. I mean, OP will continue to suck, but I don't think it'll get worse.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Oh,
And I think
okay. All right. Okay.
So
hold on.
I'm happy with where we are right now.
Hang on.
I'm okay with it.
We've hit
I
the
will-
same equilibrium we did in first edition, right? We're
I
just
will
like
bet
we're waiting for the card pool to get there.
I will bet you a round of beers at KubaCon. All right. That
Wait,
from
around
now to
for
KubaCon,
just the 2 of us?
FFG
There's a
OP.
lot of people who go to KubaCon. How many people
I will
is this
bet
round?
you. I said you around.
Okay,
around.
All right. A beer.
Uh,
You're betting a beer. All right.
A beer.
Let's
You know what? I'll bet
separate
2
that.
rounds. I can do that. That's
Okay.
sweet.
Oh,
2%.
one for him and one for me. I get it. That's fine.
All right. So
Yeah.
I'll bet Chris and Sid. There we go.
Yeah, cast
All right.
members. Cast member round.
Any cast member that's there. All right. Including previous guests.
Oh,
I'll
hurry
give
up.
that.
Come on. Yeah.
That FFG's
The longest
OP
bet in history.
will get noticeably worse from this episode to
The
KublaCon.
Kubla. You think so? I think
yeah,
digital
they-
FFGOP will get
they-
worse.
they
How
always-
could they get worse?
Because they'll
That
do
doesn't
something.
seem quantifiable.
They'll just do something stupid again, and everyone
That's
will.
the best because then you can't lose.
I think the worst case scenario is it's just like it was this year, and if that's it, I'm okay with it. Like I can work with that, you know. Like most people in other parts of the country, we make the tournaments as good as we can, and there's a lot of community-led tournaments, Kubla being one of them, and those are growing. Like those are getting better, I think. So I'm really not that worried.
I'm not worried about the community.
You're gonna owe me some beers, son.
That's fine. I don't mind that. I'm not worried about community run tournaments.
That's why this is a shitty bet. Hey, if anyone's still actually in the chat, can you give them something worthwhile to bet? Because that is a fucking useless bet. A bet that no one cares about losing isn't even worth making. So if the chat can come up with a better bet, we'll do it.
I'm not gonna do it.
Shit, boring ass bet. Like, who cares if no one cares if they lose? There's
Slap
no
in
point
the
to bet.
face, a full force slap in the face.
Ooh,
On the
slapsgiving.
street.
Oh, he's
at
talking about the
Kubla.
stakes of the bet, like the round of beers thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's going to cost Roy tens of dollars. All right.
yeah.
tens of dollars.
If you don't care if you lose the bet, there's no point in the bet.
I like making bets that we all win, which is we all just get drunk.
You're gonna do that anyway. There's no bet. Yeah, there's no bet. for
Johnny
that.
Wright
Ooh,
has
beard
suggested
bet.
a beard bet. Yeah.
Loser has to shave their beard and
I-
present it
I
in a
actually-
Ziploc bag to the winner.
We don't,
Actually,
Loser
man, I
has
have
to
a
shave.
beard.
No,
we
no,
don't
no.
joke about atrocities. No.
The loser has to shave half their beard.
My
do a second
scrawniness is going to be
Suns with
gone in
half a beard.
September, so there's only one more Suns episode with me having a beard. So
Why
you
are you
cut-
shaving?
it's Ala's birthday present. She hates the beard.
What? Oh, she hates the beard. Oh my. Oh well.
So
I can't
it's
blame her.
going-
It
it's
looks
coming off
scratchy.
in
It looks
September.
scratchy from here.
It's because
For
she
how
has the
long,
beard.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Until
She
I don't know.
realizes
Until
she's wrong.
there we go. Until she
miss it.
realizes she's wrong. I will tell her that, Buzz, when I see her.
And Neil go, beards are more easily shaved than grown, Allah.
So how about Roy has to shave his head
No.
versus
Oh, yes.
versus
100% no.
versus both Sid and Schoenthal's beards.
Ooh. Chris has a lot more to
No.
lose on that.
A-
on that
a
front.
Yeah.
No,
I was the
sorry.
side part of this bet. I just wanted a beer.
This is like
All right.
3
First
weeks,
off-
guys. Like it goes
First
fast.
off, number one, I will never, ever, 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 ever bet to shave my hair. Like never. That's just hard. No.
How about initials shaved into the side of the head?
No,
That's not so
I don't
big.
want Sid. I don't
Oh,
want Sid shaved in my head. No, no hair tricks. I am boring. I am square.
I would
Do
put
not-
Roy in mine. People ask, I'm just like, yeah, it's my boy Roy.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Sid.
Lost the bet.
I know
You
you've
don't
got tenure now, but that's still
That's right.
that's crossing the line just a little bit. That that might get you white roomed. That's all I'm saying.
My principal's cool. They don't care.
So
Oh,
we
you-
need more
Man, I'm
ideas.
looking to get into that room. Oh man, that would be so cool.
All right. I feel like we're drifting here.
We are drifting. So,
Roy, what are you drinking there?
that was a water.
Oh,
La Croix.
Showing off the
Ooh,
water.
ooh.
Yeah, there we go.
Matthews.
I'm gonna get another beer in a second, but I am actually really, really, really scared of L5R. Like as a hardcore Thrones player who cares about our competitive community, I'm just afraid that it's gonna drain away the
I'm
meager
afraid
FFG.
of your pronunciation of the word competitive. The competitive community.
You know, if people really do drop Thrones for L5R, like
I'm
take
going to
them.
get another beer.
Hey, drain the
Look,
swamp. Let him go.
It's not
I
going to
don't
get
care.
smaller than first edition. I love that. Who cares?
We'll stick with our hardcore like we have. I mean, there's been
exactly.
lulls
That-
in Thrones. It's
That,
been
that
a long time.
doesn't that sound better? Like,
Yeah, if we have people just kind of biding their time in the Thrones community till L5R comes out, let them go. Like, be gone with you. I say.
yeah, FFG hates money. Why do we have to love money for them?
Yeah, like we'll
So
stick with our
here's the-
core.
Here's the worst part about L5R. If you want something to be scared of, every
It's
fucking
got the
world,
boogeyman.
we're gonna have to hear them scream their like crazy battle chants.
Bonsai. And
Yeah.
They scream silly bullshit.
Yes. Oh
So-
yes, they scream the hell out of that bullshit every round.
Why?
It's bad.
That sounds terrible.
Maybe we'll
It
get them
is
in the
terrible.
annex. We'll petition
Trust
to
me,
get them
when
in
you're
the
trying to play
annex.
us, so Roy will experience this year when he comes to KublaCon, but Lucas knows where I'm going with this. Every year at KublaCon, there's a guy that dresses like the Khan himself and like brings a hammer, brings this line of kids also dressed as Khans into the CCG room and yells Kubla as loud as he can in the middle of a random round, and it's the most distracting thing I've ever seen in gaming, except for the L5R Bonsai chant, which is worse.
It's worse, yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, I don't know. I got nothing. It sounds like I hate L5R. I think that's what we're getting at. I kind of hate L5R. If you're going to play L5R, I hate you. So that's new. That's a thing.
Oh, the poor Kim brothers. You don't love them anymore?
Fuck them.
They are very
into first, folks.
They are very into
I think Andrew's in the chat. So
Did you
Andrew,
notice
share
how
your opinions of Aaron.
Did you notice how no hesitation happened there? So what do you think? Fuck them.
Like, I'm gonna try it. I will play I won't buy the game, but I will try everything. I do, but I don't buy everything now. So I'm gonna play it with somebody. I mean, I'll find someone to play it with. A lot of people are gonna buy it, especially here in SoCal. So I'll try it, and if it's great,
a lot of people really.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. A few vocal people. I'll change.
Sure,
my
a few vocal
vocal people. So we'll see.
Luckily,
I mean, it's a
so
popular
far,
game,
none
right?
of the San Diego Thrones regulars.
Oh no, of course not. That they're hardcore. Like San Diego's not going to lose its meta. It's not going to happen, right? I think the strongest metas in the country won't lose.
To worry about, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
like Heat Death in the Universe, and Ryan Jones and I will be sitting there at ease drinking beers and.
Yeah, Corey's making L5R agendas from now on.
If like the three dudes that play together every month in Sarasota decide to switch to L5R, I'm not going to get all broken up about it, right? Like that's as bad as I think.
Calling you out, Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah, I actually don't know anyone in Sarasota. I was trying to be as unoffensive as possible.
Why? That's not the point of the show. Say fuck the Kim brothers.
I don't know any three-man metas.
Say fuck the Kim brothers. Say it.
No, I don't. Actually, one of them. Which one? The one in New York. Fuck that guy.
Andrew.
Yeah,
Andrew's in New York.
Yeah, that guy. That guy for like
the one that's not close to you.
Kugla. I had to set him straight. But the other Kim one's all right. I don't mind California Kim. He's fine.
California Kim versus
PK,
New York Kim.
We calling it.
Yeah, New York Kim. Nah, man, forget that guy.
Not fair.
You hear me?
It's not fair. You guys got the better.
Hear me, New York Kim?
I love you, Andrew. I think you're
we have the better Kim in what sense? In a social sense, or actually better at the game?
Is New York Kim good at the game?
He's fine.
He's fine.
Fine.
Okay.
That's how I feel about the
like California Kim. Yeah. He's fine. He's all right.
He's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I was.
All right, now that we've shit talked the Kim family,
that's what Second Sons is about. Being mean to people.
It's still not as shit showy as the episode that we did. Like the metas to look out for. That was
man. Which was literally just an excuse to badmouth people.
All right, so Buzz, why don't you give us your? I don't know. Do you still play Thrones, Buzz? I don't know. Whatever your perspective. What is your perspective?
Buzz isn't listening. He's fell asleep.
He's eating breakfast, is what he's doing. He's going. Yeah. That's why.
I'm planning to come back and play. Yes, actually on this stream, in the future. And
you're gonna stream some Iron Throne?
Yeah, Iron Tech or whatever it's called.
Sick.
What do you think about L5R, right?
And its impact on Thrones.
Ooh, I've got a question too. Once you're done with that,
I know a lot of competitive L5R players have been playing Second Edition in Europe, and I think we're likely gonna lose them. They're gonna switch to playing Thrones for fun and L5R for competitive. I think, at least in Europe, and I think it might be bigger in Stockholm than Thrones. Right off the bat, there's a lot of people that I think will start playing. But, I mean, I don't think, except for the people that only played Second Edition for like the L5R waiting room, I don't think we will lose players to L5R. That makes no sense.
That's good. It's interesting. And I've been maybe emphasizing this too much, how similar it seems to me. But there's reading through the rulebook, there's a ton of similarities, and that's natural with FFG games, but it's not necessarily natural when they're crossing over another game. You're gonna look at it and you're like, well, I guess they like that aspect of Thrones because here it is again.
They did put Nate in charge of it, so
That's the one thing that like makes me kind of want to play it is I love Nate. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure I will play it, at least try it, like Sid said. And I know that Hultman is gonna try it, and Pontus Strimling, our like
Holy
Stockholm
shit.
team captain.
If all of you guys leave, maybe I'll just be like good at Thrones.
no,
It'll be great. All the good Thrones players leave. Maybe I'll get like a second champ card.
I have no doubt in my mind that we
You have to
will,
travel
if we
each
start playing
That's
L5R, that we will play both games.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm in the Thursday tournament. Yeah, the Thursday, because Friday's Melee, Saturday's Joust. So I'm in the Thursday
Melee.
tournament at.
Is there a card
Gen Con.
design for Melee?
No, but there's a trophy this year. So when Dark Knowledge wins
Ooh.
again, there will be a
'Cause-
trophy. Unlike last year, where he
Well,
just got.
it's sad that Melee's first this year, so I can't lend my champ deck to Seth again like I did last year.
And then he can drop after 2 rounds and be one of the reasons.
I'm a little bit worried that they're going to open up a lot of space for L5R at Worlds this year. Like, I've got a little bit of apprehension there that they're just like, new game, you guys get the best hall, the best day, the biggest
schedule
spots.
I'm very concerned about. And
Yeah,
I mean,
I really hope we don't get
because we had
You mean the Friday, Saturday slot?
last year.
Yeah,
And maybe
like if
this is
we
a
get the
separate topic,
Wednesday,
but it's
Thursday
frustrating
slot,
they
I'll be
said-
pissed.
it's frustrating. They said, "Hey, we'll have
betting-
info in July, and July's over, and we have nothing."
We're gonna get the Wednesday, Thursday slot. They're gonna
You
give
think so?
Netrunner and L5R the nice slots.
I think.
And
Are we
yeah.
not bigger than Netrunner now?
We
I
got to
feel
be
like
bigger
we
than
are.
Netrunner now. I think we are.
I don't think we are. I think we're closer. I think we're much, much closer than we were.
Well, they got the weekend slot last year, so it's our turn. I feel like we deserve the Friday. Give us the Friday,
It's our turn
Saturday.
to have the kids on weekends.
Yeah, right. I mean, realistically, L5R is only going to have one big tournament, or do they have more stuff to do? I don't know.
They don't,
Do they have
I
more
don't
than
think
one
they
way to
have
play their
multiple formats. I don't think there's a melee or anything like that.
No.
But I mean, they could do like a side event or something.
So
Use
probably
that.
one
They've played the
premier
Worlds
turn-
Melee
game
since
turn,
the
yeah.
great theft of Buzz's card design of 2015. They've been running that as officially as a side event now, right? In
Yeah.
Worlds.
Yeah.
Right.
There has not been a 2.0 melee world championship that I know of. Like that maybe they call it that, but there was
It doesn't have a card design. It doesn't like.
It doesn't have a card design. There were like 40 people last year out of the 200 and something that played, or high 180s or whatever that we had for Joust. So the disparity between Melee and Joust at Worlds was much larger than it has been in years past.
And the draft was bigger. I heard more people were drafting as well at Worlds last year, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I wouldn't even mind
the
if they put
draft
them on
was
the
a
same
cool
day.
on-demand format too, so that helped. Like the on-demand like 8-person pods and go. Like the prizing wasn't amazing, but it was.
Yeah, I find those less
It was
exciting
easy
than
to jump to. I agree.
I
I
think
would like
that-
to see a 2015 style like World Championship like actual
Oh, yeah.
one again, but
Well, I know Ryan in particular does because he would like to get it.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was your question, Glazer? You were like, I have another point. and
Oh
then
yeah,
we got to
no,
try.
it's totally off topic. I don't care about this topic anymore.
I know you don't.
So not Chris, Sid, and Buzz. If you were going to Gen Con, what would your deck be?
No, this is no.
Is this another
this is not
topic
a
we're talking
Gen
about
Con?
later?
This is literally something
We're
We
having
have a Gen
Gen
Con episode next episode,
Yeah, but that's
just before
the
Gen
week
Con.
of Gen Con. So
but
it's
I won't be
timely.
on, so whatever.
Oh, you won't be on, but
I'll
Sandy
be in
will be
Columbia.
taking your place. We'll have another.
Really, you're gonna do
obnoxious New York-
Sandy without me, you asshole?
Yeah,
Hey, it's you who can't make it.
yeah, it's not our
I'll
fault.
be in Columbia. All right.
You should just Skype it
Whatever.
from Columbia. Do they not have Skype in Columbia?
I don't
That's all I'm
fucking
saying.
know what they have in Columbia.
For sure,
I
they
know
have
that.
Skype in Columbia.
I know
Probably
that.
Just saying.
better internet than Americans, so.
Yeah,
Probably.
we have no
Probably.
the worst internet.
Better infrastructure. So save it. I'm not going to Gen Con. I wish I were, but I'm not. But if I were, I have no idea what I would play. So I'd have to think about that. I'm not
You
even
have
like
2
I don't
weeks to
even.
think about it.
Okay, because I didn't even
And,
insert that thought in my mind. Because
and by 2 weeks,
who
Luke,
cares?
I
I'm not
mean
going.
as soon as we're off the cast, you need to message me whatever your real answer is.
Oh man, I mean honestly, I just play like shits and giggles decks right now because there's
Landing
nothing to prepare
Jumper.
for. So, I mean, Landing Jumper would be one I would look at with the new cards coming out in Barons, right? There's 2 good cards.
But
that
they're
could
not
go in.
legal for Gen Con.
Oh, shoot. Never mind. Then probably not Lanny Jumper. I mean, no, probably not Lanny Jumper. Like, honestly, I'm so, like, I don't have anything big to look forward to. I've been playtesting decks, like, with Valar Dohaeris proxies. Like, that's how far ahead I'm thinking, because I have nothing to play in until Worlds. But now that I know Valar Dohaeris isn't legal, I know. Well, I just learned that a couple days ago, so I need to adjust what I've been doing also. Bah.
So that'll be about, like, 2 or 3 packs legal, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, well, Tyrell box. We're going to get an entire Tyrell box likely by that time, right?
So hopefully that's what they did, because the Lanny box was legal last year, right?
Yes.
Lanny box was not legal at Worlds.
Oh,
no.
it wasn't. It was legal for Dance.
We desperately wanted it to be legal because the jumper deck was awesome.
But we're looking at Tyrell as an October
crossing
release,
jumpers.
Right?
Yeah, it would be. So it would be. It's going to be
Tyrell
August.
is fourth quarter, is what they've said about the Tyrell box. It's fourth quarter, so it's a total coin flip whether it'll be there or not.
I mean, nominally, because they haven't missed a month yet, so it would be an August release of Pack 5, a September release of Pack 6, and then October box would be Tyrell box.
October.
They didn't take
I think
a break.
it'll be legal.
They didn't take a break between.
World starts November 1st, so it can't be like late October, right? It's got to be mid. But I think that's doable. I think we're going to get a Tyrell box, which could be interesting. Should be really interesting for Worlds.
Sid will be playing Conclave.
No.
I'll be playing Conclave.
No. But I might be playing Tyrell because I like Tyrell, and if they get enough good stuff, sure.
Oh, huge announcement thing. We were talking around this. I totally missed. Thrones Wars date is announced.
Yes, it is. Lock it up.
Lock it, block it. We mentioned it, but explicitly, Ryan has not figured out how people are going to get to be kings. So it's just going to be pure rampant nepotism, probably. Plus,
no, he'll wait. I don't know all the details, but he'll wait until after Stalic to make his final determination, because a lot of people are going to Stalic, and a lot of those people going to Stalic are not going to Worlds. Actually, I don't know if it's a lot, but at least a handful are not going to Worlds and going to Stalic instead. Okay,
I think
he'll use
Worlds from SoCal this year is going to be you, me, and Kraus. Nice. Like, I don't think anybody else is going.
So I know NorCal is going to go, but you're right. I think SoCal is going to be pretty small. So he'll wait till after Stalic. So I would say sometime early December, he'll start to make those calls, because he'll ask people, you know, can you be a king? Can you commit to it? Will you even be there? And that'll all kind of play out. But it'll be a little later this year, because usually he goes heavily off of world standings, but he's not going to be able to do that as strictly, right? Oh, Stalic is involved. I mean, he could. He still will. Obviously, those of us not going to Stalic are looking at Worlds like this is our ticket in, and hopefully,
Roy, if you go and win Worlds, I think you have a good shot at a king.
Yeah, King Roy, I could see it. Honestly, I haven't.
That legitimately is like, I may actually try really hard to make the Worlds cut, because that could lead to me getting to be a king. It's like a legitimate prize.
I actually look at my performances throughout the year and I think, is this good enough? Like, is this king level play? Like, here's my one thing I've done this year, and it's not great, but I have made the cut in every official tournament I've played in. Okay, but I haven't won anything this year. So
how many is
it's not
that,
enough.
though?
How many is that? It's like 3 store champs and a regional, so it's not much, right?
Yeah.
It's 4 tournaments, and I've made cut in all of them.
We need a real result at Worlds from you.
Yeah, like if Ryan, with that only effort, if Ryan was like, "Hey, Sid, I want you to be king," I would say no. Like, I'm just no, because the 8 kings should be 8, if not the best, should be 8 of the most accomplished players that year. And I've already told Ryan, like, my resume is not good enough. I need to do well at Worlds. And honestly, like, making top 16, top 8 at Worlds is more important because of Thrones War than because of Worlds. Now, winning Worlds, of course, is better. Right? Well, maybe not. Well, yeah, it's better. But
you get a card design.
But yeah, right. But just like in my head, it's like this is why I'm putting in the effort. Why I'm going to prep for Worlds is really about Thrones War, because I have more fun at Thrones War than at Worlds. Even though I really enjoy Worlds, Thrones War is right now, because I run Kubla and can't play in it. It's my favorite tournament to play in.
The best weekend of the year.
Yeah,
and mine are like almost. I think mine are almost exactly flipped for that reason. Like, I help Ryan with Thrones War, so like Kubla's a little more fun for me, but they're like 1 and 1A, like just right there.
I mean, probably Kubla was probably more fun for me than Worlds 2015.
Wait, Kubla? You mean Thrones War?
Not Kubla. So excuse me, Thrones War. Yeah.
Maybe Kubla
like,
2018. No.
Maybe Kubla 2018 could be, but like I'm just saying, like Thrones War was top 4, top 5 Thrones experiences that I've ever had.
Ever?
So
Nice.
yeah, it was a really good time.
And you were on Team Stark.
Oh yeah, sorry, Chris. I was
Little
the
burn.
Thompsons, man, the Thompsons. Chris could have just conceded to me, and I would have been in the cut. He wouldn't do it though, because Johnny was like, "Don't concede to Roy, because you don't need."
So, would he still have won if he conceded to you? Would Martell still have won the overall?
Yep.
Yeah, they were pretty 3 or 4 points ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, Martell surged
the
last 3 rounds. They just surged through everybody.
They chewed us up.
Mm-hmm.
So I just clicked the Facebook page. There are 54 people listed as going and 55 interested. And
That's
this
pretty
is
good for a February tournament.
Out.
All right. So Aaron, you still here?
Yep. What's up?
So you wanted to talk about the show, which I'm going to use as cover for Sid to ask what remains of our chat some questions for us as we sort of close up the episode.
We totally did that before we got on air, so I don't really have anything else to say. I did want to talk about the show, and then we had an hour to kill because Buzz was asleep, so we talked about the show, and now I feel like it's covered.
Show's garbage and weird, and there's only a few episodes left, and I'm worried about that.
I actually kind of like the show. I'm
not really enjoying it right now.
I mean, none of the characters is it's not good, but I like it. It's good fan fiction.
It's not good.
It's not. It's bad. It's a bad show.
I mean, it is definitely good. It's just not.
I mean, what have we got? We've got this short season and one more short one. Like, they need to start hitting us with the good stuff. I feel like we are just slow rolling to the end here. Are we going to get 3 good episodes at the end and that's it?
Why? When's the last really actually, that's not true. I like the last episode of last season, but the Cersei, Cersei and the Moon. But that's the only episode, full episode I've actually liked in 3 or 4 years. Since I
liked the second to last episode last season also. Those were 2 really good episodes.
I don't remember it off the top of my head.
It was the battle of the bastards.
Oh, I hated that. I thought that was terrible.
Yeah, that was not great.
It was John was an idiot. We knew it was going to happen. It was great.
You guys are high, right? I don't know what's
wrong with you. It was great cinematography, but it was just boring and predictable.
Cinematography.
Oh,
you mean
yes,
John
that's what
wasn't
I
going to die a second time? Of course he wasn't. But
there was no suspense. He was a complete moron. We knew exactly how the battle was going to turn.
I disagree completely.
It was predictable.
I mean, of course we knew how it was going to turn, but there was suspense. There was drama. It was the only real nitty-gritty medieval battle we've had in the entire series. And that alone made it great.
Go ahead, Roy.
Okay. You
one breaking down the door? Man, pull your head out of your ass.
I was agreeing with
real
you up to the
real
point
medieval
you called
one
it
went breaking
a
down the
medieval
door.
battle. Going back to what we were talking about in the pre-show, where you were like, "Oh, D&D, they sometimes give us production secrets." They based it on a classical battle from the fucking Peloponnesian War. All right,
who cares about that? It's a fantasy.
Nothing like medieval fighting.
Yeah, but they're not really in a medieval world, right? They're in a mix of.
But all I'm saying is this: I enjoyed Battle of the Bastards. I did think it had some good tension. I thought it was very beautiful. But when you think about it as a battle, it's really dumb. It's super dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem when they get encircled like that, it calls attention to how dumb it is.
Yeah.
Please. Child, please. Buzz, are you on my side here, Buzz? That was a good episode?
Yes.
Oh,
you all should. I've linked in the chat. Lessons from the screenplay. How to evoke emotion. It's
I
knew my European brother would understand that was a good episode.
I like Lessons from the Screenplay. I didn't know they did that. Do you guys Nerd Writer?
I have no idea what that is.
If you like Lessons from the Screenplay, you should look up Nerd Writer. Also YouTube.
I remember the name, but
Beyond the White Book.
No, don't look up Beyond the White Book. Do we even post things there? Whatever. Who cares?
This was good.
One development in the show
why?
I don't like is it sure looks like the Hound and his brother are never going to meet. And
no, they have to.
They're definitely meeting. The show is
the show is
it's fan fiction, fan service. They're fucking meeting.
They're not going to meet. My prediction is Gregor kills a dragon. Just
Can we bet?
Straight up kills a dragon.
Can we bet?
Yeah, let's bet. Yeah, Hound and Gregor don't meet.
Let's do a beard shave. Want to do a beard shave?
Is your beard even like decent? I don't know. I haven't seen you on video in a while.
But you don't care about it, so you can't bet with it.
Yeah, I can. I can't shave.
See how he's just throwing his beard out there like it doesn't matter?
If I shave my beard, my wife
No, he is. He's just confident. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think they have to.
All right, beard bet. Wait, are we shaving beard bet? Is that the bet?
Shaving beard.
Shaving, and it has to be right before an episode of Second Sons. So
okay, you have to appear on Second Sons with the baby face.
Fine.
Deal.
So they will definitely meet.
They will not meet. Wait, meet in battle or just like look at each other?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
You said they wouldn't even meet though.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Don't try and go back. Like I don't know. I think we get Clegane. Unless
don't fight, it'll be even worse.
Maybe
worse
but
than
like,
if they had never.
Sure,
met.
but I mean, I think it'll be better because then you shaved your beard for nothing.
They're not going to meet.
So I feel like Clegane Bowl is going to happen, but I'm more sure that they're like in the same place at the same time than I am sure that like.
Not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
All right.
I hope you look good with a clean face.
I don't.
This could be a good bet.
I think the show's been fine this season.
I
still have not recovered from season 5.
There's just some bad character moments. Yeah. It's not a bad show. It's just there's bad character moments. Like a lot of characters aren't the characters they were when George was the writer. Like D&D just decided that like people are their own characters now that they want them to be instead of like who they were in the book at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the land.
Cersei?
I actually enjoyed the John and Danny meeting, so...
I thought it was great, except John was stupid. Like, John had weeks on a boat to plan what to say. He gets there, he's like, yeah, what am I supposed to say? Like, Dick?
That's classic show, John. That's
literally all you had to do. He's given, like, 5 great speeches. He's just like, I got nothing. I got nothing. The Army of the Dead, maybe?
Well,
what do they look like?
Good the fact I think you could make an in-universe argument for why that's the case in the sense that like that whole dragon thing and John's just like
you can argue more fan fiction on the fan fiction. Yes, there's no in-show like no. He had weeks to plan. He gets up there and she's like, "What you got to say?" He's like, "I don't know, dead people."
He didn't have weeks to plan. It was like 20 minutes showtime. Didn't he warp? He stepped through the warp and he was there. Yeah. Instant.
Well, no. Only Euron has a warp.
Winterfell to Dragonstone. There's no shortcut. There's no shortcut in that journey. None.
The leaked episode was amazing. So,
well, let's not talk about that. I haven't seen that yet. So let's.
Yeah, we didn't see it. Hence, sorry, no.
That. Yeah, Hanno 3. Hanno, I can't say that. Shut up.
That is probably really enjoyed our L5R.
Buzz just sent.
No, Buzz. I don't want to watch the pirated copy.
All right, now we're supporting Buzz.
What do you think I'm watching each week? Come on.
So clearly, Buzz is a Euron fan.
Oh my!
Because he likes pirates.
Oh, puke!
I hate Euron. I hate show Euron. Like,
yeah, I hate book Euron. I mean, emotionally, I hate him.
Like, no, but like book Euron, I hate. No, book Euron, I hate for like real reasons. Show Euron is just like, look at how cool and special I am. I've got plot armor. Yeah.
Even book Euron has like 1.5 chapters. He's barely in it.
Well, book Euron's a child molester, and
and possibly like a wizard though too. So that's cool.
Yeah, like maybe an evil wizard. And he's been to Valyria, which is cool. He's got a horn. There's no horn.
That's true. I don't know why there's
no horn and 2 eyes. Well, he traded
horn because
we're 0 for horns.
Are we zero? There was no Night's Watch horn either, right?
Yeah.
No, Sam has the horn. That's not true.
Does Sam have the horn?
Really?
He does have the horn.
Are we sure about that?
Yes, they actually made a thing about it when Sam left. They did a whole like previously on.
And he had the horn.
And it was like showing John finding the horn, and then I don't know.
Shit, here's YouTube clip. Sam finds the horn of winter. All right, fair enough.
Fair. Okay, so there is a horn, but is that going to get back to the wall in time for it to be something?
Well, I mean, who knows? Like, there's a whole elaborate theories from book readers about like Euron and that horn, but I doubt the show's going to go in. So, but I mean, theoretically,
they travel the ways to arrive.
Euron is like still Jack and Hagar and things like that. Those are fun.
No. Euron is Dario, who is Engine. That is the best.
If Yurio was actually Dario, I would forgive an awful fucking lot right now. Like that's the stupidest plan ever in the show. But like, I would be so happy.
Benjen is everyone in my heart. So he's there. You know, it's just Benjen. Have you ever seen them in the same room, Aaron?
I mean, I've also never seen Sid and Schoenthal in the same room. So
I have.
Yeah.
And you've seen me in a room with you, so you know I exist.
And I've been in a room with you.
Them, right? Ipso facto.
QED.
Wait, were we really, Glazer? You were never at the same worlds that Sid and I were both at?
I'm sure. No, Glazer stopped going before I started going. Or did you ever go to Worlds, Glazer?
I went to Worlds
at least 1 year,
for 2 years. I went the year Alvaro won and the year Brett's won.
Okay, so
I was at both of those. We were all at both of those.
Yeah, but I was really drunk. It doesn't count.
And not doing well, I think, also.
No, I went 4-2 both worlds. I made the extended cut 1 year.
The year Brett's won, right? And you didn't.
And the other.
What was the Stark put to the snow quarter against Seth?
Right? And the year before, I lost to 2 people. They were Ryan Jones and Alvaro.
Those are decent.
All right.
The overall champion
and the resume.
The world champion.
Aaron only loses to the best.
I'm usually pretty good at only losing to good people, but good people crush me.
Nice.
That's not necessarily true. It's true enough.
All right. Looks like we don't really have any questions from the chat. So, do anybody have any sort of final thoughts before
There's only like 4 people in the chat. Like it's.
I know.
Yeah. Well, we're an hour late, so I've got a question. Who do you think is a secret Targaryen?
Wait, in the show?
In the show or the books?
In the show or in the game?
Ooh, we're in the game.
In the game, among the player base. Okay.
In the game,
it's a little secret Targaryen.
Wait, in the books? In the show?
Pick one. I don't fucking care.
Secret Targaryen.
Lance has a question. His question is question ... So it's not really a question.
Come on, Lance. Hit us. This is probably Lance from NorCal. Got to be.
Yeah, Lance Virginia. All right, good talk, everyone.
Good talk,
Lance.
All right. So anyway,
are there? You mean like there's more secret Targaryens? I don't get it.
He's really asking you this question. In the books, is Tyrion a secret Targ or not?
Is he a bastard son of the Mad King?
Mm-hmm. No. All right, we got a no from Sid. Buzz.
What? I was
is Tyrion a secret Targaryen?
Wait, here we go. Lance has a question. Is attendance to Thrones War, does it seem more important to you guys than U.S. Nationals? So is going to Thrones War more important than going to Nationals?
Oh, yeah.
I say that with a great deal of love, Patrick.
I mean, it's more important than Worlds.
Yeah, I would also.
It seems like a weird comparison.
Like it's probably
we'll say, how about for people not from the West Coast, right? If you're thinking I want to travel out to the West Coast for a tournament,
I'm
and say you're thinking Kubla, Thrones War, and Nationals, right? Those are the 3 big ones on the West Coast.
Kubla's not even on the list.
Well, now that it's Road to Stalik and you get to go to Stalik,
maybe the Stalik part, but like without
I'm not saying it's number 1.
No, it's not that I don't like. It's not that I don't like Kubla. It's that I don't really want to deal with the fucking convention. Like, I'm not traveling across the fucking country.
You don't have to, though. That's what's great about it.
It's not the kind of convention you're imagining at all.
Yeah.
All right.
I've only ever been to like New York.
So, as someone who's seriously considered all 3 of those tournaments, Thrones War is like up here. Like, honest to goodness, if something came up and I had to choose monetarily between Worlds and Thrones War, I would pick Thrones War. Like,
it's more interesting.
Instantly. It's more interesting. It's more intimate. It's entirely just Thrones. It's it's
a very unique
experience. Sexually, by the way.
Yeah, it's just amazing, and Ryan does a fantastic job.
it's not just the tournament, right? You get your team works together. There's a lot of bonding going on with that group of players. Like it's really a unique experience in Thrones, unlike anything else there is.
Yeah. I hear it's intimate.
Very intimate.
Very intimate.
Well, getting less so. I have to say, like having as a king. I don't know. You were a king before, Sid. Before it got big, right?
Yep.
So like, what are your feelings on like 4-person teams versus these like 8 and 9 mega teams that we're at now?
It's certainly less intimate in that you've got a smaller crew, but I don't know. Like like last year, I was the Tyrell King, and we were really tight. We were all playing practice games online. We were, we set up like a group, a Google group, and we talked about decks. So I don't know. I didn't see a big difference. It was just about the same from the 4, but to I think we had 8 this last year because not every team had the full amount. But this coming Thrones War, if it's going to be more like 12-person teams, I'm not really sure where the numbers are going to eventually fall. But if they do get that big, I could see a little bit of that kind of tight team mentality fading. But I don't know. I think it's up to the king. If the king makes the effort to bring that group together and really keep them kind of tight and strong and make it a fun experience, I think if the king does that, it'll be fine.
So is there a reason not to do 16 teams?
Wait, 16 teams? Oh!
That's interesting. 2 of each house?
Mm-hmm. And you know that going in, so like, do you overbid on the first one, or... You know what I mean? Like, it adds a bunch of extra strategy.
That would be some fun disparity between, like, oh, am I going to, like, Targ A goes for $40 and then Targ B goes for, like, 10.
Yeah, and, like, how do you
Targ A feels like an idiot because their team's so much worse.
If you got big enough, you might want to consider that.
You should bring that up to Ryan. Maybe, like, he'll like it. So.
I'm hoping that he'll watch this episode and hear it himself.
Well, I can just say as someone who played in a team, like, I think, I took the Stark things very seriously. It's the only thing I played All-Star Championship season to get myself ready to play Stark. Second thing is, I think we had a very good community. I mean, we didn't probably do as much like internal testing as you guys did with Tyrell, but I think everyone shared deck ideas.
Because Stark's terrible. What are you gonna do?
Like, there wasn't a lot
of bad deck should we play?
There was some desperation. Like, I was going through my Isle of Ravens record, and I saw a tanking from US Nats, which I expected because I was 3-3. It was not a great tournament for me. But then I saw a tournament that tanked my SOS even more. That was the Store Championship in LA 2 weeks before Thrones War, where I desperately tried out this Stark Kraken thing, and
I remember that
1-4 against people I'd never met in my life.
They were like, this is the North American.
Yeah. I remember. I was like, why is Chris playing this? I was like, all right, Thrones War. That's the only reason he brought that deck.
I did not shower myself in glory. I'll say that.
The Stark Lion was actually a pretty interesting deck, actually, that you guys settled on.
So, hey, we have.
That deck was sweet, but just didn't get there.
Why, Buzz? Why are you asking that question in the fucking chat? You're on the podcast.
There's enough people talking over each other. Come on.
It's just like, wait. We have questions.
Yes, Nationals of Seattle again in 2018.
No. We have we have a real question. What's your favorite plot currently legal in Second Edition?
I don't remember the cards at all.
Favorite plot in Second Edition?
Can you search?
Time of Plenty.
It's
Time of Plenty favorite plot?
Who's this Time of Plenty?
Is your favorite ice cream flavor vanilla?
Yes,
vanilla with extra with extra. So it's either Marched or Valor. Like, I don't know if it's Marched or Valor, but it's one of the two. Oh, you know what it is? I take it back. Blackwater.
No.
I love that plot. It's not the best. It's my favorite. It makes me happy. I hate dupes.
Making all the dupes go off all those
it almost always works.
Feel good.
Yeah. Like, look, it's not the best. Like, if it's the best, Valor or Marched, right? But it's my favorite because dupes and saves are for stupid people. Sean's all agreed.
End episode.
I didn't say I agreed.
Yeah, you
did.
did.
Let me write that down. Dupes and saves are for.
I really like Varys's riddle. Still, I think it's a great plot, and it's one of those counter plots, which we don't really have many of those. In fact, it's probably the only one that's like a straight up counter or copy, or well, I guess it's not the only copy. We have pulling the strings, but it takes a little more skill to kind of plan out and play and pop that Varys's riddle. I really like it. I think it's a really fun plot. I wish there were more like it. Outfox. Counterplot.
I wouldn't mind seeing that come back.
For me, it's probably naval superiority. Still.
Oh, that card doesn't exist.
Even with all the summer plots?
I mean, we all are my favorite.
Favorite.
It's not the best.
Favorite,
right?
not the best.
Yeah,
that wasn't the question. Yeah, favorite.
I mean,
that's why I like Blackwater.
It's one of those that carried me to the Paris win last year. It was so good.
It's it's the most like the feeling it creates is the most different for both players. Like player who hits someone with naval superiority, it's the best feeling in the world.
But it takes so much skill as well.
Naval superiority is like the worst feeling.
It's so polarizing that way as well, but it takes so much skill, and it takes, especially you have to, like, it's not like, okay, we play it and I don't hit, I lose, I hit, I win. It's more like you have to play it when, how do I explain this in English? Fuck.
Just say it in Swedish.
No, but so I've won many games where I missed it because you have to play it when it makes sense, not only when I'm gonna win now if I hit it, but I'm not gonna lose when I miss it. I just love that plot so much. I've been trying to put it in every single deck I've played since.
You should probably not do that
when you're back
start
to the
playing
card
again.
pool buzz, whether you feel that way because
Yeah,
there's so much summer.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it was bad even when I was playing. I mean, it was. We have Winter Festival everywhere. At least we had. I assume we do still.
That's one of my least. That's one of my least favorite. Fuck
and
Winter Festival.
Summer stuff everywhere.
Winter Festival should have never been made.
Yeah.
And I'll play it. I'll put it in decks because it's so good. But I hate that it exists.
Yeah.
Limit one at least, right? Like, no, just have four power.
Just shouldn't
One
exist.
power?
This shouldn't exist.
Like one power. No,
All right, that was an actual good Thrones question. If we don't,
there's another question that's not a Thrones question.
What is it?
But it's what do we think of the Isle of Ravens?
Oh, the website. No, the new site.
Oh, the website.
Buzz doesn't know what that is.
Buzz, you haven't checked out Isle of Ravens yet?
I googled now, and I mean, I don't get.
I googled it.
Isle of Ravens is a
basically an add-on to Jousting Pavilion.
Yeah, that does
ELO.
the chess thing. ELO. Yes,
ELO.
there we go.
Oh.
ELO. 4 Thrones players. I will say
It's
controversial
imperfect.
things. Talking to two Californians, I am not a fan. I think it creates some bad incentives for the way it operates with the Jousting Pavilion. I actually prefer the JP system that Corey and the Jousting Pavilion folks worked out, which rewards you for doing well, but doesn't punish you for doing poorly.
Sure.
I would rather see more of that, because it makes you worry. It's like, okay, I went to this tournament. I now have to think about literally every tournament that could go into the Jousting Pavilion as something that could count against my ELO rating, and I don't like that. I think that that's bad for the way in which competitive Thrones works. Like but the jousting points thing, like I love jousting. Like when I got my top 4 at a regional, I was like, oh man, that's a lot of Jousting Pavilion points. I was like, yes. And then when the regional that I got top 8 at was just too small to qualify for Jousting Pavilion points, I was like, fuck. If the Thompsons had actually shown up, I would have gotten my fucking Jousting Pavilion points. That's a feeling that I think is better because, again, it rewards you for doing well versus punishing you for doing poorly. Now, I see all the arguments for ELO, and I see all the arguments for coming up with some player rating, and I think that's totally cool, and I think it's great. But I think the way it operates for running out of the Jousting Pavilion, instead of saying, okay, these are ELO tournaments, like, regionals and like dance and Kubla and the high level Rodistolic stuff, right? If that was it, it just counted those results and said this is your score, I think all right, that's good. But the fact that it just counts most Jousting Pavilion stuff, I don't like at all. But
Do you
I appreciate where it's coming from, but I don't like it.
Do you mean like so? A new player would like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go there. I placed well in the previous tournament. If I go to this new tournament, maybe I lower my elo.
Yeah, but remember, like both of these websites, you know, the rules are made up and the points don't matter, guys. Like,
yes,
like you're free. You really think there's anyone who's like, I could totally attend this tournament, but if I don't do well with my janky jack, my ELO is gonna suffer. Like, there is no one in the community that thinks that, right?
So,
really?
Okay. Point of order. We had Johnny's joust, his goofy restricted list tournament for his birthday, and he offered to put in like alternate names for people, and only one person took him up on the offer, and I lost to that person, which I was a little frustrated by, but. It's actually funny because it turns out, if you look at it, his real rating was lower than a baseline, like, normal person. So that it worked out for me, but it was a situation that created a little bit of, like, feel-bads. I will concur with that. And that's not even, like, I can see including store championships, but I get Roy's point that maybe if there was a way to selectively, opt out as a tournament, I understand. I was listening to the final Annals episode today, and they were talking about it and wanted people to be able to opt out individually, which, I don't, like Lucas said, the points don't matter, so I don't care that much about individuals opting out. But if you could click opt out as a tournament and still use the software to run your tournament because it's great software, but then not have to have those results, registered, if you want to call it that, that would be something I would be interested in.
Yes, tell that to Petter. I mean... He's so responsive.
Sure, and I mean,
talking to him.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and he's, from what I can tell, talking to Brad and Alejandro, he's been amazing to work with, and I think his product is great, and I think that the work that Brad and Alejandro did is great too.
Absolutely.
And I don't think I would ever not play a deck I wanted to play because of my rating or anything like that. So I don't think. But maybe that's just on an individual.
It's individual basis, and I think to me it doesn't matter as much when there's sort of like you and Sid and Chris represent two polar opposites. Like Sid doesn't really care that much about how people perceive his record. He's just going to be Sid and he's going to do Sid things, and that's awesome. And Chris, you're the North American champion. Like you've won a card design. At the end of the day, if you spend a year tanking and not doing well in competitive thrones, you're still Chris Schoenthal. You're still 2016 national champion. But there's a whole group of people who are competitive players that are in between that. Sure. And if they're trying to make a name for themselves in the community and say, hey, I'm a good player whose opinion may matter or be judged, that's where ELO comes in. Right, at least the way we
but
does
a lot of
space between Sid and Chris. There's a lot of space.
Like I definitely, when I'm looking through the Facebook group and somebody says like I had a guy before U.S. Nationals that was telling me that Rattleshirt's Raiders was a garbage card and I shouldn't play it. I didn't go immediately look up his Isle of Ravens record and be like, oh, should I listen to this guy? I have my own formed opinions, and I hope that other people do too. So I don't think that people are using it as a trend-setting thing.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just my perception again. Do you have counterexamples? Because I'm genuinely curious.
I more have examples from other communities that I've been.
He has emotion. He has pathos, motherfucker.
He doesn't even have anecdotal evidence.
He's gonna tell you how he
feels.
This
is his lizard brain.
Okay, all right, but it's an impossible thing to prove. It's an impossible thing to prove. No one's gonna be like, oh, I think that guy. I think that guy's an asshole because his ELO rating is.
I would accept even anecdotal evidence or examples. Roy, do you have any anecdotal evidence?
I have lots of anecdotal evidence of people worrying about their score and placing in games I have played consistently throughout my life.
On Isle of Ravens?
Not Isle of Ravens. I'm talking about other rating events.
Oh, yeah. Like people want to do well. Sure. But I
And
mean,
judging
Isle of
people
Ravens
based
just
on-
is a record of how well you did in all the tournaments, and it does give you a number based on all those things. But if you won 4 tournaments and were, goofy and tanked 3, like, I don't know, does it really make a big difference?
Does for your rating?
Maybe I'm speaking from my own perspective, so maybe if you're like, no, my ELO should be higher. It's like, well, like you're not. It means nothing. Like it's an interesting.
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, so
but it doesn't mean anything.
This is the thing. Then why do we have one? If it doesn't mean anything,
But
why
Roy,
do we have one?
Because it is
Brad
an
and
interesting
Alejandro
data
were
stream to
bored.
study.
Okay,
Yeah,
so Roy,
this is
Okay,
just
Alejandro was
they're
bored.
like,
It's
let's
fine.
see if we can
Then
do this.
Alejandro could have made one for himself and released it. The fact that someone released it and we're talking about it on this podcast right now means it means something. Like that's
Yes,
cool.
it
This is the
means
humanist
something.
in me.
Roy,
This is the
It's
humanist
like
in
a
me.
cool thing. It's just a cool thing. If it
Roy.
does become something that changes the way people fundamentally approach the game, this little like fun fan made website, then I will examine those changes with you, Roy. But I don't think it's ever gonna go beyond that.
Again.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it again.
Elo.
But like, is the downfall of Thrones really Isle of Raven? Come on.
No.
Is it even gonna have a
Alejandro
negative
calls
impact?
the FFGOP, as we've talked about many times.
So
Yeah, like,
I've never looked at Isle of Ravens. I don't even care that it exists. Like, good for people who like it, but like, why does it matter? I'm fully on the side of this is who cares.
the rules are made up and the points don't matter. I'll say it again. It's fun. Like I like it. I like to look at it. Mostly just to look at my tournament records and be like, oh, I did play that guy in the 3rd round of that one tournament last year. Oh, cool. Yeah, I remember that game. And it does show you like your nemesis, like who beats you consistently, which is kind of cool.
You can be like, that's a good statistic.
I knew that guy always beat me, and now I have the data to show me that fool always beats me. And then you can kind of be like, okay, well, let me see what he's done the last 10 tournaments, because I really want to beat him the next tournament. And like that's some kind of cool data to look at, right? But like the rating is just kind of the extra. For me, it's all the more concrete details of that website that are interesting.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
ELO score to me is like, who cares? It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. I play a lot of competitive games, and most of them have ELO ratings of some kind. And it's such a great tool to track progress. I play Dota, CSGO, and the new PUBG. I log on every day. After every match, I log on to see my progress. And in a card game, you have to watch over the whole year, because you can't be results-oriented in a random-ass game. So if you lose tournaments, and like, oh my god, my ELO went down in a card game, then you're just stupid, like retardedly stupid. Because
no punches pulled.
I've not even found the website, but if Isle of Ravens is what you say it is, it's so cool, and especially for new players that are bad at the game, because they can track progress over time, and that's so good for the community.
All right, let me see if I can
It's
find it.
our responsibility as seasoned veterans of the community or whatever to make sure that it's not
That people
toxic
know that.
and people like, oh my god, you don't have 1.8k, you can't say anything about this card.
Right. But I
think
posted
it's
it
my
into the Twitch
responsibility.
chat. It's in the Twitch chat. Check it out from there.
Cool.
I mean, the highest people are kind of the guys you would expect. Like Tomas is right up there. Kostas is right up there. Like these are the guys who crush it at tournaments regularly. It's not perfect, but I think it's a very cool tool. That doesn't mean anything, Roy. Doesn't mean anything.
I think it should mean more.
Apologize.
I think every
I
time
apologize.
Roy's ELO goes down, he should have to get kicked in the balls.
Well, I'm gonna look up Roy right now
My ELO will go
as
down
an
consistently.
experiment.
It's not very good.
This is so
Okay. Oh, wait a minute.
Am I
Roy,
even
wait a
there?
minute.
Oh
Roy,
my
are you
God.
Roy Lai? You're not Roy Lai, are you?
I'm Roy Rogers.
cool. There's a
I mean,
lot of
every-
people in the top 20 that I'm like, okay, these are good people, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Yeah.
the statistics work.
But it's
Almost
almost the
Also,
exact
how
same
cool is the
thing.
Nemesis and Rival features?
Yeah,
Those
I
things
love
are
that.
great.
Again, the Nemesis and Rival features I think are really good.
What are
Does
the Nemesis and Rival
even
features?
work for Tomas?
So
Yeah,
it
What are
shows
those?
who you lose to most often, right?
Yeah.
And who.
So mine would be
Aaron,
Dashboard.
you have 12 games in there, which is not enough to calculate. So I already
Oh.
looked you up.
why do I have? How the fuck do I have that many games?
You have
I've only been-
Starpike and Dance.
Oh, right. I forgot. I forgot I went to Nets.
I forgot. Perfect.
dance, right?
I went 3-3 in dance. It sucked. My last game for 4-2, I had 5 fucking limited cards after mulligan in my hand. I showed it to my opponent. I was like, "You win, dude. Like, I'm not gonna win this game. What are you gonna do?"
Oh, it even backtracks all data. That's so cool. So
Yeah,
I'm in there,
yeah,
for
it's a
example.
cool tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool tools.
Cool tool, me. You'll come around, Roy, once you realize
No.
no one really cares about it.
It's good for
I'm gonna
making
get my final
inconsequential
humanist
bets, I
note in,
imagine.
which as soon as you start measuring something, Sid, people care. Like you don't measure
Really?
things people don't care about.
I don't know.
But anyway,
so you're saying that if you haven't measured your penis, no one cares about it?
Or that you don't care. Or wait, I don't get
there
that.
you
Yeah,
go.
who's
See,
not
that's the
caring?
thing. You don't care about the size of your penis. But there we go. Anyway, on that very happy note, very, very great way to end the episode. Do we have any final thoughts before I close this out? We're now reaching the close to 2 hour, 1 hour?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah,
Yeah,
because
we're a solid hour and a half.
when we
That's perfect.
started. No, just
Nope.
fun times,
All
guys.
right, let's close it out.
All right, it was a
to
good
be back,
episode.
everybody.
One public service announcement again. And I'm just going to say this, we're going to be having an episode the Tuesday before Gen Con. We will not have Aaron Glazer. We will be joined by Sandy, who will be giving us a post-fracas update about the European meta and where it is and what that has to do with Gen Con.
Because we used to have a European on the podcast who could do that, but not anymore.
A lot of euros.
So we
come
will
to
have
Gen
Sandy.
Con.
I'll be joined, I believe, by Sid. Right? You're still off work at that point. Right?
I'm here, man. I'm not going to Gen
Show
Con.
it all.
or
Will you
doing
be able to
anything.
make that Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah, I'll be there.
All right. So it'll be us, Buzz, possibly
Yeah,
as
sure.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be us plus Sandy. No Glazer. He'll be in Nicaragua. So
Nicaragua, really, you racist fuck? You stupid cracker.
Cambodia,
All right.
right? Cambodia?
So anyway, wherever he'll just not be on Second Sons.
Dear white
So, I don't like people. Cut the episode, Buzz.
people.